Try again. There we go. The button didn't go all the way, I guess. So I put this presentation together like a year and a half ago. In Kansas City, the chamber came to me and they said, hey, we have a lot of leaders that are talking and murmuring about this AI thing. They're not sure what to do. And we need somebody that has the knowledge and the experience that you have to put something together to help people understand what the heck is AI anyways, and why do we care, and where's it headed. And so I delivered this for multiple chamber leaders the very first time, and everybody really liked it. And so I kind of tweaked it a little bit and threw it out on the Sessionize to see if anybody else wanted it. And it's been selected like 5 times since then. So apparently there's an opportunity and a gap to talk about what the heck AI even really is at a business layer. So the topic for this is really just how can we use AI in business at a high level, at a strategic level, more than just what the heck is Copilot. This is like, how does AI even participate in that? So once again, thank you for the sponsors. They're the ones that make this happen and cover the costs for a significant portion of this. A little bit about me. My name is Sharon Weaver. I am the founder and CEO of Smarter Consulting. I have been consulting in this particular business for 8 years this summer. And I spend a lot of time hanging out with Microsoft, as you can see. And if you have any questions you want to connect with me or you want to follow up with me afterwards, all my information's right there. That nice little QR code that my husband made will take you to a contact us form. You can fill it out, and I promise you, I will call you back. All right, so this is what everybody's talking about right now. This is the buzz. Everybody's spending all their money on AI. And the people who are not in the know are like, what the heck is going on? Why did all the money go to one place? And they say words like revolutionizing. And we say, it's a fancy search engine. Like, is it really revolutionizing things? I think it is. So we're going to talk a little bit about the significance of what AI is doing in business, how it's going to change things. A little bit about understanding AI, maybe in a way you don't already. Some of the tools, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Implementing it, some of the benefits, some of the future trends, and then just some time for Q&A in general. So here's the thing. I've talked about this, and I've got slide decks on slide decks on slide decks on slide decks of kind of where we've come from and where we're going. But here's the thing you have to understand. There have been things that have come up over the years, but they're specific. They're specific to an application, they're specific to an industry, they're specific to a process, they're specific to a service. The reason that this is called revolutionary is because what is happening everywhere. It's all industries. It's a little overzealous. It's all industries. It's all business operations. It's all processes. It's all applications. Revolutionary is impacting everything. The last time this happened is when we industrialized, right? When we got electricity, the world changed because electricity impacted everything we did. It fostered innovation. It changed the way we work. It changed the way we slept. It changed the way we ate. AI is going to do all those things. And we've only seen this much of what it's already impacting. So is it revolutionary? Yeah, it's impacting everything. And here's why. The strategic significance for AI isn't that it can do things faster or better. So what? The significance at a strategic level is that AI helps us to make better decisions. It can make decisions on our behalf, and it can create competitive advantages, and it can create opportunity where it didn't exist before. Once again, think about electricity. Before electricity, you couldn't work at night. I mean, okay, you had a candle or a gas lamp. You might die of suffocation. No big deal, right? But you couldn't do that. Before electricity, you couldn't cook your food the way that we do now. Before electricity, we didn't have radios. News, communication was different, right? It changed everything. It created advantages. It created opportunities where they didn't exist before. The reason why this revolutionary thing is happening and why it's strategically significant is not because there's a new tool, not because there's a new application. It is because this specific technology changes the way that we work. It changes the way we do business. It changes what people can do. It changes what applications can do, because it can help us make decisions, and it can make decisions for us. Huge difference. Where's the future headed? We're going to talk about specifics. Where's the future headed? I should have a picture that's just like the duh, right? Huge potential for continued innovation growth, duh. Like, we're like this far, right? The thing is, you guys haven't even seen the beginning. It's nowhere close to where it's headed. Because the next step, we're on step, I'd almost say we're on like 0, maybe 0.1, right? Got some cool stuff out there. When these AI agents start coming to the market that actually do what I've seen them do, these agents, they can plan on their own. They can reason, they can make decisions on their own. They can take actions on their own. I remember the first time that I got a robotic vacuum and a robotic lawnmower. Okay? I'm into robots. I know that's shocking. So they're like, we have this cool thing, and it's a robot vacuum. And this puppy was $1,000. Who in the world needs a $1,000 vacuum? I don't spend my money on anything. I really don't. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I'm really boring. I sit in front. I work. I sit at home and I work. All right. If I'm fancy, I might go out for dinner. Like, that's where I just don't. But man, when that robotic vacuum came out, I'm like, yeah, baby. All right. And so I learned how to put the little boundaries around my living room so that it would clean my floor. And I learned how to set it with a schedule so that like it would automatically come off the dock at a certain time every day. Make sure it got back to the dock so it would charge. I didn't have to do anything. I'm like, this is life, right? I don't have to vacuum anymore. The vacuum, it knows when to go. It knows what to do. I don't have to think about it. I started telling my friends, they're like, seriously, you have a robot vacuum? I'm like, yeah. Now, how many of you guys have a robot vacuum? See, when I got it, nobody. They thought I was nuts. And the same year, I bought a robot lawnmower. The very first one they made, because I had a half-acre lawn. And do you know what I hate more than life itself? Mowing my half-acre lawn. And my husband says to me, it's cool, I'll mow it. Week 1, he's out there mowing the lawn. Week 2, he's like, do I really have to do this? Robot lawnmower, you know what that thing did? I set it on a schedule. I went out there and I dug a trench around my yard to lay the wire. And every single Saturday, that thing came off the dock. It ran around, it mowed my lawn, and it went back to the dock and it charged. We had that thing for like 6 years before the power supply finally gave up and we had to get rid of it. It's like one of the most amazing things. They have robot lawnmowers, guys, and they're better than that one. If you don't have a robot lawnmower, I'm telling you now. They got robot gutter cleaners. Oh, yeah. All right. They've got all kinds of cool robots now. So if you don't know about robots, agents, Agents that can do things for you. We see this in the bot world, but it's starting to come to software. Because now we're like, no. We want to tell our applications what we want to do. I manually want to vacuum my house. I don't trust a robot to vacuum my house. Because in software, we think we need that control. We don't think that something is smart enough to make those decisions on our behalf. But at the end of the day, let's be honest, a significant portion of what we do, task-based, doesn't require a whole lot of decision-making. It just requires something to happen at a certain time. And we've got workflows. But if we add one level up to let that agent, yeah, you know what? Here's what you need to know. Go ahead and do it. Do it on a timer. Let me know if there's a problem. You know the cool part about that? They don't sleep. They don't take a break. They don't take a nap. They don't need a lunch. They don't have a sick day. They don't participate in anything. And I'm not trying to talk bad about employees, because I love employees. But they can keep doing all that busy work, all that task-based work, so that we can just focus on what we're good at and move up to that strategic level. This is where AI is headed. And this is only like level 1. This is why it's important. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about what AI is. A lot of people don't understand AI. This is not a technical session. I've been in technical sessions. You should see the technical sessions. Last year, I sat in a summit session on Microsoft campus, and they did a deep dive into large language model processing and how the vectors work for an entire hour. By 40 minutes in, I thought like my brain was like leaking down my ears, and I'm a math nerd, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? This is not a technical session. This is not that session. What I want you to understand is really what AI is, what it's capable of, and how it's working. But I want you to also feel empowered and educated, so that when you go talk to people and they're like, what'd you learn? You're like, let me tell you what I learned. All right, so we're talking about some key concepts. We give you a little bit of an overview of where we've come from and where we're at. So here is the definition of AI. The definition of AI is the simulation of human intelligence. Oh, it's really close, guys, really close. By machines. So bots kind of fall into this. AI, bots are a little bit AI, particularly computer systems. The processes include learning, so they can acquire information, they can acquire rules, and then reasoning, meaning they can use those rules to come to some sort of a conclusion, and self-correction. One would almost argue that sometimes I see AI having a little more critical thinking skills than some normal people right now. They can self-correct. Specific applications can include all kinds of things, but expert systems, natural language processing, speech recognition, machine vision are some of the big ones we're seeing right now. I don't know about you guys. I know a lot of people don't run in and out of the country as much as I do, but the facial recognition for the new passport systems, guys, like if you've ever done international travel and you've stood in that line, you know what I'm talking about. And then you're like, global entry. You find what global entry is and you're like, okay, I still gotta sit in a line, but it's not that bad. Facial recognition, for the last 2 times I've come through customs, didn't even have to take my passport out of my pocket. I walk up, I smile, it goes green, they're like, thank you, and I walk through. That is not the same. That is this. It knows who I am. It makes a decision based on the fact that it knows who I am. And if anything goes wrong, it knows how to self-correct it. Dude, guys, like, this is next level. All right, so this is a lot of stuff, and I put it in the slide. I'm not going to read through every single piece of this, but I want you to understand these key topics, because this is something later when you're like, okay, Sharon talked about this AI stuff, and like it was a second day, and my brain was full. But you're like, I want to speak intelligently later about this conference. Here are the things, and I literally ran this last night. I said, I sent this to ChatGPT because I've redone this slide deck a few times. And I'm like, all right, take this list for me, review it, and tell me what the current key concepts are to replace it. So here's the big ones that are kind of top of mind right now. Machine learning, you guys might have heard of some of these, right? Machine learning, the idea of being able to learn patterns. So we think about like syntax, right? SharePoint syntax. We can take that in, we look at the invoice, we grab what's in the invoice, and then we can feed it 1,000 invoices and it grabs the information out, it throws in a database. It's great, right? Machine learning. Natural language processing. Basically, think about ChatGPT. You talk to ChatGPT, that's natural language processing. It knows what you said, it knows how to figure it out, it knows how to give you an answer or response. Computer vision is that facial recognition, like at customs, like I just mentioned. All right. Generative AI. Generative AI is the idea that it can take information from a content source and it can make sense out of it and it can feed it back to you in a way that makes sense. Okay, so it's not really thinking for itself, but it is filling in the gaps. Large language models. Machine learning and large language models kind of go together, right? Because I've got all this content that I can pull in and I can do stuff with it. Autonomous agents. So remember our agents. Agents are the new one. Pay attention. Those other ones, they've been around for a little while, but agents are new, autonomous agents. And these are systems that can literally think on their own. They can come up with their own decision-making. They can self-correct. Multimodal AI is a kind of a little bit of a new topic too. And multimodal say that 3 times fast. Multimodal AI is this next level where it can say, I'm going to take information, the AI tool can take information from multiple sources, pull it all together, and then feed it back to you. I think about things like translation services. So I don't know if you guys have used Teams Premium or PowerPoint translation services. This is a really great example of multimodal AI. So what it's doing is it's taking what language is it being delivered in? What language is it being consumed in? Are there slide decks? Are there transcripts? Are there things that are happening? Are you playing videos that I'm scraping that information from? It's doing all this different stuff all at the same time and then translating it on the other side. That's a really great example of multimodal AI. Reinforcement and self-supervised learning. This is where stuff gets really, really weird. Right? This is where essentially we say, if there's an error, here's how I want you to correct yourself. So remember I said self-correcting? But all of a sudden, it can do it on its own. And it starts to identify the gaps and the opportunities to fix itself. I know. Look, I know, like some people are like, do we really want that? And here I am going, yeah, we do. We really do, because it's probably going to be smarter than us. And then I definitely think ethical and responsible AI is a key concept that everybody always needs to be aware of. When it first started, people, like all the early adopters, are like, and then it kind of got quiet for a few minutes. But now that we have all these things, it's like, are we ethically sourcing content? Are we ethically sourcing data? Are we being responsible with all of that content? Are we being responsible with what we're doing with all of that content? And how do we know that we are? Right? This becomes a really gray area in business. We should. The major players are saying they are. But how do we know it? Right? So when we talk about, if you want like little cheat cards to have conversations, this is the stuff that matters. These are the hot topics that we're talking about in business, and these are the things that matter right now. All right, now where are we? Remember I said we're at like level 1. I love this. AI has been developed over thousands of years. You know, people talk about automation, and I think about things like pulleys and elevators. That's technology, right? That's automation. Thousands of years ago, we had pulleys, we had elevators. been going for thousands of years. The problem is what you guys are seeing is what we call modern AI. And modern AI didn't start until the 1950s, truthfully, right? And so we have this birth of AI over here in the 1950s. But the interesting thing to me is that in 50 years, we went from this thing called AI to thinking about it to AI in the real world. 50 years. Okay? First of all, that's pretty quick to begin with. And now, in 20 years, we've gone from AI in the real world to generative AI and autonomous agents. So now 50 to 20. And in the next 5 or 10 years, how much of this is going to be doing things for us without needing us? And the balance is gonna flip. This is why this is a big deal. I know this is it's scary cool, right? Scary cool. So I put these in here, so I told you those were the key topics. I put these slides in here not to read every slide to you, but because I want you to have this afterwards. So you guys, afterwards, you'll get the slides. And the slides will give you examples of every single one, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna go back to work and they'll be like, yeah, sure you learned about AI. Give me an example. So each of these slides has an example of this particular key topic that you need to know. For example, predictive maintenance and manufacturing, using machine learning to predict when the machinery is likely to fail, right? This is where you're going to use it, because people are going to ask you, that's really cool and all, but what are we going to do with it? So here's example. Here's business impact. Because you can know what's going to happen, you can do proactive and predictive maintenance in a way we couldn't do before. Here's an example of natural language processing. I told you about the computer vision one. There's lots of cool computer vision ones. The quality control example is really neat. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Computer vision is one of my faves. I think it's got some of the coolest stuff. Computer vision is now being used on assembly lines in factories. For quality control, they don't need somebody to watch it anymore. They just say, take a picture of this, and if anything doesn't fit the image, it goes into a different bin. Nobody has to stand there. There's no I Love Lucy anymore. Standing there throwing chocolates off the assembly line, right? It already knows. It knows which way it needs to go, and then that part can then be reviewed by a human if needed. I think computer vision is going to change the world. Facial recognitions, like I just said, for customs. Another thing that I saw that's really neat is in wildlife, they're tracking wildlife, because I don't know if you guys know this, but animals' spots and stripes are unique to each animal. It's like their name. Computer vision allows them to identify which animal they're actually looking at based on the stripes and the spots. Nobody has to look at it, nobody has to track it, nobody has to keep it. So there's this business impact to all of the tools like computer vision coming in. Generative AI is one of the newer ones. And so we think about this like automation, but ultimately, the piece that's not part of the automation is that it can actually analyze it beforehand. Because automation, we tell it to do something, right? With generative AI, it can go grab the information, and then we can line that up with automation so that it will know what to do with it. And here's the impact to generative AI in this particular scenario. We can speed up the content, we can increase personalization, and we can improve engagement rates, but we don't have to use as many human resources. What I didn't put in this deck that sometimes I put in here is cost reduction. I have to be real careful at a technology conference. When I speak to business people about cost reduction, they get real excited. But when I speak to technologists about cost reduction, they get real nervous. So I mention it, but I don't put it on a slide deck when I speak in technology. But I will tell you what this last sentence means is essentially we don't need as many people to do the same thing because it's going to do it faster, better. This is a huge one. When we start talking about large language models and the ability for them to go through large volumes of things like legal text and then generate legal drafts, you guys know that there's already like suits out there for AI doing law. Already things happening around this. But truthfully, even if it's just replacing paralegals, it can save law offices just hours and hours and hours of research, studying case law, having to have the knowledge around it. It's insane. This is the exciting one to me, the autonomous agents. I know, it sounds like a bot. Because how many of you guys have used a chat bot in the last few years? Representative, right? What's that video? Representative, let me talk to a person. The truth of the matter is, you guys probably don't realize that for the last couple of years, you have been working with agents, not people. I know. I can usually tell the difference. They tend to be very nice and very polite. But I promise you, in some way in your world, you are already interacting with an agent from some company somewhere because they've been out for a little over a year on the public market. So if you enter into a chatbot dialogue or you ask a question on a website or you send an email support request to somebody and it seems a little too nice or a little too good to be true, I'm not saying that people are bad. I'm just saying you might be talking to an agent. I feel like that could be like a whole, you might be a redneck. Like, you might be talking to an agent. But the truth of the matter is, how much of this is the stuff that we answer over and over and over and over and over? FAQs. They're going to send me the same question 45 billion times. Why not have an agent? Go look it up, answer the question, right? So I put those in there so you guys have them. So after you leave here and you don't remember any of this, you can pull that deck up and you can be like, okay, I remember there was an example in here, I can pull it up. So here's some of the big AI tools right now, and this is the one that a lot of people like. So they're like, I didn't even know that existed. And I play with all kinds of tools. If I listed all of the AI tools that I've been playing with over the last year, you guys would probably just be like, do you really have no life? I promise you I don't. I just sit on the weekends playing with AI tools because I have so much fun with it. What's really interesting to me is right now, Azure AI and Copilot Studio have always been on the list, but they've been on the bottom of the list up until about a month or two ago. And when Copilot Studio and agents rolled out publicly, Microsoft jumped to the top of the list because they're trying really hard to be the industry leader in agent technology, and they're working very, very hard at it. So I did a session last year in Copilot Studio. I'm doing my Copilot Studio session again in DynamicsCon. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't know what Azure AI and Copilot Studio is, you really need to know. You'll be glad you did. Copilot Studio lets you build your own agents. And then once you build them, I'm just telling you this because I don't work for Microsoft. The people in your tenant do not need a special license to use the agent. Just saying. Just need one license to make it. Just like a Power App. Power Apps, consuming a Power App has stayed within the license bundle. I don't expect it to change. I don't. I expect that if you continue to make your own agents, that as long as you're in the license bundle, I don't think you'll be it. So this is, if you want to save money, Copilot Studio is a great way to do it. Yeah, just make sure you name it Hal. Keep Ruth happy. If you guys are not using ChatGPT, guys, my husband is in technology, and he's probably one of the biggest laggards I've ever met in my entire life. Here I am, here's Sharon, front of the thing, innovative everything. Here's my husband. Why are you even doing that? So we get to ChatGPT and he asked me, wait, how'd you do that? How are you doing that over there? And I'm like, you don't need this. You don't care about this. He finally comes to me, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Okay, can I get the subscription version? Because this is kind of cool. I'm telling you now, if you don't have ChatGPT, think about it. The free version of ChatGPT is kind of cool, but it's public information. If you want it to be private, meaning it does not share your data back with the model, it keeps it secure, it's $20 a month. You're going to spend that $20 a month on coffee and donuts. ChatGPT is going to be better. Yeah, there's a lot of limitations around the free version too that do not exist. You can make projects, you can make agents, you can do all kinds of cool stuff. It's worth it. So if you're not playing with ChatGPT, definitely. Google Cloud has its own AI. I've started to take a peek at it. It's interesting. It's coming along. I've heard good things. I haven't played with it a little bit. I've heard some good things. Amazon Web Services has their own as well. A lot of people really like the AWS AI that's coming out for data management. If you haven't taken a look at that, that's a good one. And then these other ones are some that maybe you don't know about. So Claude, a lot of people love Claude. Growing fast. NVIDIA has their own. NVIDIA literally just announced this end of last year that they were creating their own Omniverse to compete with some other things that are out there. I'm telling you, I know the architecture behind it. It's worth looking at. If you don't know about it and you haven't seen it, read up on it. I foresee there's going to be some really cool stuff coming there. They're building some of their own things. Hugging Face just keeps coming back into my face. Hugging Face keeps coming back up. It is an open platform where you can, it's kind of like GitHub for AI. So you can build stuff, you can download stuff, you can play with stuff. And it's growing rapidly, really rapidly. And then Data Robot is another one that gives you lifecycle management around machine learning and AI. So if you don't know about some of these, I mean, obviously there's more, there's so many out there, but these are the ones I would say if you don't know about them, you haven't played with them, you haven't seen them, look at them. At a bare minimum, look them up, read about them, look at a demo. My guess is if I could collect a fee for all the products that will probably bought from people looking at these, I'd be doing pretty well. So play with those. Here's the thing that I like to tell everybody. This is so simple. I mean, and once again, like, I'm not trying to tell you to do anything. I want you to understand, as this revolution happens, as AI comes in and takes over the world, as we think about what it can do for us, those opportunities, remember I said there's just all these opportunities? Look at your business processes now. Not because you're going to try to do them all at once, but because you need to start identifying where the opportunity exists. The people who did this when electricity came out, we all know who they are. And the people who said, I don't need that, I'll worry about when I need to worry about it, most of those businesses died quickly. They couldn't keep up. People who had the lights on till midnight could work harder. So look in your current business processes and start thinking about, okay, is this something AI could do for me? Start writing it down, start taking notes. You don't have to do it overnight, just start looking at it, create a backlog. And then start prioritizing it, because what's gonna happen is if you can do a little bit at a time, you're gonna be so far ahead of the competition, it's not even gonna be funny. And I mean, you're gonna be leaps and bounds. I have just simply kept up with reading, playing, looking, doing things, and I do stuff all the time. And I'm like, hey, check this out. And people are like, where did you even find that? I promise you, if you just do these two things right now, I know I'm not like blowing your mind with anything new. But if you do these two things right now, in 1 to 2 years, you guys will be at the top of the heap by far. Because everybody I'm talking to right now is like, okay. And then I call them back a couple months later. Are you using this? We tried that. It was okay. It was like kind of a glorified search, but we really didn't get any value out of it, so we let the licenses go. We didn't see what AI could do for us. We just thought we're just going to keep it the same way. That seems like a lot of investment to learn, to change, to build. I promise you, you do these two things, you're going to beat out the rest of the competition. You're going to be ahead of the pack because 80% of those people are going to give up on it until it makes it to the consumer world. And right now, don't get me wrong, I like my robot vacuum. My robot vacuum is up to being able to not only go and schedule, but it can take itself back to the dock, empty itself, and fill up the little bin, and I only have to throw it away once a week. Yes, it has its own Instagram account. It likes to run out the door. It likes to eat cables. We think it's funny. We don't have pets. So it is our pet. Shroomba. You know why? Because we had a Roomba, and then when I replaced it, I replaced it with a shark, which, by the way, super happy. But we kept calling it a Roomba, and I'm like, it's not a Roomba, it's a shark. And so my husband says, well, it's a Shroomba. And so then my son calls it Shroomy for short. So Shroomy has its own account. Did for a while. My point is, in the consumer side of things, I have a robotic vacuum. On the consumer side of things, my nephew likes to talk to the free AI person on his phone because he thinks it's funny. On the consumer side of things, people are making pictures with AI apps, right? How many ways can you change a photo? We can be Muppets. We can be Disney. We can be Barbies. We can be action figures, right? This is what the consumer world is using it for. That's it. It's going to be a while before we actually see it doing things for us. In the meantime, the business world, so much opportunity. Personally, professionally, from a business perspective, keep up. Don't let it slow down. Because here's the ways that it can help you. I know we've said this for years, that automation automates repetitive tasks. I have an entire presentation, automation doesn't solve process problems. You automate a bad process, it's going to be a faster bad process, right? But truthfully, we think about things like data entry, scheduling things, and note-taking. I used to work for a company. Our entire job is there was keying in documents. We had operators, an entire room this big of operators. All they did was key in information off of invoices and sheets and sales sheets and all kinds of stuff. They brought our company in to OCR those invoices. And then we got rid of the 50 people in the room and we took it down to 5 people to QA it. Because we could OCR that information, dump it into a database, and people would QA it. With this, I need one person. One person to review all that information. So you can do repetitive tasks. We all know this, like this is kind of a new thing. Think about how you can improve communication and collaboration. We talked a little bit about chatbot agents. What if I don't ever have to talk to somebody ever again from a support perspective? The only time I talk to somebody is if it gets escalated. That's it. Because the agent takes care of all of that. What if I never have to reply to an email ever again? Because my email knows if I get an email from this person with this information, here's how I'm supposed to respond. What if my social media account automatically looks for keywords and responds to people in a certain way? Communication and collaboration is going to change. I told you about decision making. I can say if it's this, this, or this, do that, that, or that. Don't ever even bother me. It'll know exactly what to do. It can help me make decisions. My husband's like, I want to build an agent that'll decide what we eat for dinner. I mean, I think everybody on the planet's tired of deciding what to eat for dinner. So think about it. If it can scan what's in your refrigerator, it knows what food you have in your pantry, and it says to you, hey guys, here's what's for dinner. You have this, this, and this in the fridge, and this in the pantry. Go make it. Oh, you don't even have to think about it anymore. Every day your closet tells you, here's the outfit you're going to wear. I know it's clean because it's sitting in there. You don't have to think anymore for that. You don't have to make decisions for that. You can save that bandwidth for other things. Think about all the decisions you make every day and how much of those you could outsource that you're not that worried about so that you can make decisions on the things that really matter. Efficiency in operations is a big one. And this is just that idea of intelligent processing, records management, tons of stuff coming in records management. It does it for you. Accelerates content creation. Guys, do you know how fast I can make an image now? Holy night. My social media, I'm just like, please make an entire month of social media posts with this, this, and this. And it's like bam, 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 and then it posts them. Done. Going to change the way we live. Always on support, I told you, doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to take a nap, doesn't need to take a vacation, doesn't need to go to a PTA meeting. Just always on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, doesn't have holidays. Always on. Learning and development, this is going to be a huge change. And this is sad for me because I've been in the training business my entire career. You know what I'm working on right now? A generative AI clone of myself. Because then, for every single new training topic, I feed it a script, it creates a clone of me, it generates a video, and I can push that on YouTube and nobody knows the difference. I have a friend who did this. She posted it out, and 38 minutes into the video, she looked to see how many people watched it that long. Nobody even knew until at 38 minutes in, she goes, by the way, this is an AI clone, in case you were wondering. This is going to change the way that learning happens, because can you imagine if companies don't need to pay trainers anymore? They can feed their transcripts into an AI-generated training video for ongoing learning. I'm not saying we still don't need some people to help them, but that's going to change the way that we learn. And support compliance and risk management. I am so excited about this one. I'm excited about this one because I've been in risk management and compliance management for my entire career, and I'm constantly going into people and talking about governance, and I find out that their governance documents are 400,000 years old, inaccurate, not updated, and hidden in a site that nobody knows where they are. And I say, why'd you make this decision? Oh. Do you have a governance plan? Oh yeah, we have a governance plan. Hang on, I'll go find it for you. Go read this document. This document says it was published 12 years ago. Yeah, that's it. Do you follow this? It literally says that you're on this version from 12 years ago. Oh no, we don't do any of that. But imagine if you've got audit, compliance, and risk management and governance policies that are all 100% AI driven. They are preventatively making sure you're doing the right thing. This is where I did a session this morning in prompt engineering, and everybody's like, why does Copilot make me do this? Why won't Copilot let me do whatever I want to do? Because it is ensuring that you don't do something dumb. It is ensuring that you don't do something you're not supposed to. It is ensuring that you are successful. Imagine if we can wrap that around everything we do, and all of a sudden, we keep ourselves from doing dumb things. We keep ourselves from sending out information we shouldn't. We keep ourselves from causing problems. And the AI goes, I noticed you did this. I'm going to implement I'm going to make a new policy and push it out to the entire organization. You let me know if that's a problem. You don't even have to make that decision anymore. It knows that somebody breached it. It requires a policy to be made. It creates the policy. It releases the policy. And then it sends an update to the manager going, hey, I found this breach, I fixed the policy, I made it, I deployed it, and here's all the information about it. And all the security and compliance people there went, oh. Right? And change the world. All right, last thing, here's some future trends that are coming. Edge AI. Do you guys know about Edge AI? Edge AI is exciting. So we think about Google Glasses. We think about the brand new Quest video games. Everything's in the hardware. The software is built into it. So think like your phones and your watches. It's all built into it. Now, just wait till AI is built into your devices. Doesn't need to talk to anything, doesn't need to look at anything. Maybe it updates or syncs once in a while. What about your car? Your car can do whatever it needs to do. What if your car was like my Roomba? And it's like, oh, I need an oil change. I'm going to drive myself in and get my oil changed. Oh, I noticed a crack in the window. I'm going to go ahead and call the repairman and they'll come fix it. You didn't even know. It's already taken care of. I got you. Right? Think of the opportunities. Like, this is where people start going, wait, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, I'm getting it. Edge AI is the idea that AI is built into the device. Super cool. It's coming for you. All right? Explainable AI. Explainable AI is basically AI that tells you what it can do and gets you to trust it. I know, scary. I know. Ruth's like, what? Wait, what? That really is the definition of explainable AI. It's like, I'm good, I got you. And you're like, yeah, you do. Okay. AI for cybersecurity. We just talked about all the stuff that's coming for cybersecurity. AI in healthcare. Once again, I'm a little excited and a little nervous. So I started pre-med. I worked in retail pharmacy for 7 years before I went into technology. I remember when pharmacy robots came into being, about the same time I was in software development. I watched all of them make the robots. I watched them make the automation scripts, and I was like, nobody's ever gonna do this. Well, I don't know if you've been in the pharmacy lately. There's not very many people there anymore because there's just a line of robots in the back for all the fast movers. You need an amoxicillin, I promise you no pharmacist is counting that for you. There is a robot in the back that counts it, puts it into a bottle, wraps a sticker on it, drops it into a bag, and a person grabs it, staples it, and hands it to you. Healthcare is the same way. Eventually, my sister had surgery with the Da Vinci robot. The doctor that was doing her surgery was like 8 months pregnant, and she was like, I feel like this is gonna get in the way. So she stood over here like a little drone player, and she used a robot to do surgery. Now, the next step, I know, this is gonna be scary. Imagine if the AI was doing the surgery, not the doctor. I said, I love watching the looks on your faces like, okay. Might be better than a person, might be worse, who knows? Maybe. Healthcare, I'm just telling you. AI in healthcare, look it up. There's some crazy, amazing stuff coming. Now, the good thing is that hopefully maybe it'll bring the prices down a little bit. One can hope. We've got intelligent automation, which is basically automation. It's just able to do it itself. We talked a little bit about learning, real-time AI. One of the things I'm testing out, remember I told you I have a little clone? I don't know if you know this, but there's an option for that clone to answer your questions. So you can see me, talk to me, ask me questions, but it's not me. And you won't even know it. It's coming. Watch. And then AI for sustainability is another big, humongous future trend. And I mean, this has been ongoing for a long time. When we talk about, the automated bots. I talk about my robot lawnmower. There's robots that are out farming for us right now, right? Honestly, what's really interesting is you guys don't realize how much sustainability tech has been around longer than you think. And it's only getting better. All of these kind of far out places that don't have people, they're really embracing this tech. So anyways, lots of really cool stuff coming. All right, I know that's a lot of information, but hopefully you guys have a really full head of this is really cool and now I gotta go look up all this stuff. But what questions do you have? Or are your brains just kind of... No, I'm here, I'm 3D. My avatar? It's an avatar, which is the next level after agents. A 3D simulated human replacement. And an agent would be the technology behind it, and the avatar would be the interface. So it's an avatar with an agent behind it. Coming to a customer service representative near you. You just watch. You watch, you're gonna start getting on the phone with people and you're gonna be like, wait a minute, is this a human? I can't quite tell. I'll tell you how to tell. Ask it questions. Ask it completely off the wall questions. And if it's I'm not sure how to handle that, or I don't know how to respond to that, probably not a human. Now you guys are all gonna go home and you're gonna call customer service so you can see if you get a fake robot. We did it for a while. It will answer you. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Hopefully you learned something. The slides will be available after, so you can, whenever you're tired and you want to read through them again, or somebody asks you a trivia question, you have lots of good information. Yeah, thanks.